Hello, everyone. My name is Susie Hutomo, and I'm an environmentalist and also the founder of the Body Shop in Indonesia, as well as Sustainable Susie, which is my online platform about sustainable living. Today, I'm going to show you pictures of Bali. Bali is my home. I've been living here in Bali for 9 years now, and I'm currently working on a book about Bali and the environment. So this project's going to be in English because the book that I'm writing is going to be in English. So maaf kalau saya bicara dalam bahasa Inggris ya. Um, living in, I live in Sanur, which is not too far from the beach in Bali, and I decided to start writing about my experience in Sanur. So with Pepeng, my photographer friend, we started to document what was happening in Sanur. Our two sets of eyes documented Bali in this project, mine as an environmentalist and Pepeng as the photographer, discovering environmentalism anew. We sat by side, but often see differently in many ways. And we both see the beauty in Bali, and that's why everybody loves Bali. And we're most often in the early mornings, it's quite mesmerizing, the beauty of the beach. But as an environmentalist, I see many problems. And tonight, Pepeng and I are sending you postcards from Bali during the lockdown. These are the postcards from an empty paradise. So I'm going to share my screen now. So if you'll bear with me. Okay. There we go. So these are postcards from an empty paradise. Okay. As you can see, Bali is quite beautiful. In the early morning, Pepeng and I would be totally mesmerized by the beauty of scenes like these, with the sun just rising and the fishermen just coming in. Again, here you see, this is again actually taken during the pandemic. Everything is quiet, it's beautiful, and Bali is a beautiful place. Here again in the early morning, people would gather to take a walk along the ocean. Yep, and you can see the light coming through the clouds. Again, the rising sun in the very early morning, just beautiful. These are also beautiful, but I do have concerns. And what's my concern? Well, here we go. This is my concern. It's marine debris or plastic pollution in the ocean. The problem of plastic waste in Bali is an unending one. When January rolls around, the currents will bring all these waste ashore. Tons and tons of plastic waste from the ocean. Whether it is, as the Balinese like to say, sampah dari Jawa, or perhaps it's from Bali's own rivers, who can say? Now I want to talk to you about the lockdown and Nyepi. When COVID started last year, the lockdown really all began to happen in earnest around Nyepi, which is in March of last year. And Nyepi, as we all know, is the Hindu Day of Silence. And this is the holy day when everyone in Bali has to stay at home and all activities on the island cease. It's the only day where the airport is also shut down. There are no flights at all. So after Nyepi, what happened? The lockdown was extended and the beaches and all public spaces were still closed. And the Pecalang, the Adat police were at hand to enforce the lockdown. And here you can see all the businesses which were usually buzzing on the beaches are closed down. The seats of the restaurants are upended, and you see the beaches with the umbrellas, they're all closed. Sanur Beach is generally off limits to the public, but you can still access it if you have a letter from your local chief of the village that you live around the beach. And it's shocking, really, to see all the seats upended, the restaurants boarded up. Yeah. And some hawkers still insisted on coming to the beach to sell their ware. But as you can see, it's quite depressing. Nobody really wants to buy anything. Everybody is trying to keep away from everybody else. And it's not easy to take pictures of people because they didn't want anyone to come close. Everybody wanted to stay apart. It's really eerie because the beach is usually a really great hub of activity. And now it's become a ghost town. Here you see the Petalang on the beach enforcing the lockdown. And here, the lockdown actually, as you can see, this whole anthropause, when human beings stayed at home, it's beautiful actually. It leaves nature in its wonderful form. Here you see again the lonely beach. Usually all these umbrellas would be open and the loungers would be out there filled with tourists from Europe especially. So you can see how deserted the beach is. And what happened then? Fear. Thinking back to those months in 2020, after the lockdowns came the reality that there were no tourists to provide income. So, from fear of the virus, of the COVID virus, the fear turned into desperation. How do you make a living when 85% of Bali's economy is dependent on tourism? Well, you can see here, there are no tourists, so it's time to clean up the organic waste on the beach. And you can see all the hotels are closed. So there are no jobs on the island because of the dependency on tourism. And again, more hawkers, but not many people are buying anything. And many people went back to their villages, picked up their hoe, and returned to farming. In Sanur, many returned to fishing. And Sanur again returned to a fishing village, which it was until the 1960s. The fishermen would catch enough daily for the family dinner while waiting for tourists to return. And what about biodiversity? What about all the living things that live in Sanur? As the lockdown kept humans safe in their homes, it also provided a wonderful opportunity for nature to recover. In the southern end of Sanur is a mangrove forest, and here birds return in flocks. As Pepeng and I watched them, they were running around on the beach, they frolicked in the mangroves, and nested in the tall trees without a care. Here you can see them. And if you know some of these birds, put it in the chat. What do you see? Here we have this beautiful egret landing on the water. And I must say, anthropologists helped this. It helped these birds, these beautiful living things, to come back and claim their own again. Here we have again, and they're all nesting in the trees. How beautiful they are, how beautiful and how confident the birds look because there's nobody around. Okay, so anthropause helped nature to recover. but it didn't help with the waste that humans left behind in the ocean. Here is what lies below the waves. Look at this and weep. Here are the plastic waste that lie on the ocean floor. Have a look. These are all the things that we use on a daily basis. And all this stuff is deposited in the ocean. And even though anthropos meant that human beings no longer came out of their homes, these things lie there. And I thought to myself, how would you feel if you were a fish? And how would you feel if all this garbage, all these sandals came raining down, all this plastic waste came raining down into your home? How would you feel? Well, clearly, this is, here we go. We've got a mermaid who must have lost her bra. What's a bra doing in the ocean? Here we go. More and more and more and more. Again, you see diapers, plastic diapers. And as we walked along the shore, this is the new item. This disposable mask is the new item that now starts to pollute the ocean. In the few months or in the year since we were at the beach taking these photographs, there are now thousands and thousands and maybe millions of these disposable masks lying in the bottom of the ocean. So this is the reality. So, and that ends this presentation. This is proudly presented by the Rethinking Bali project, which is my project that I have with Pepeng. And here we are, a goodbye from us. This is us when we were out in the mangroves taking photographs. Thank you. How do I stop recording?